Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Concord Athletic Alumni at Work interview series. This is episode number 7. My name is Wes McKinney, and joining me today is two-time Concord football All-American and collegiate football official Rob Majors. Rob, we're so great you could spend some time with us today. I'm looking very much forward to this.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I'm great. It's an honor to be chosen to do this after having so many other great players and people that play sports at Concord. It's an honor to be a part of this. Appreciate asking.
Yeah, and like I said, I think you have a very unique story. We're going to start out just an easy question here. Kind of give us a life update. How are things going, in the amidst of the pandemic? I mean, I know that things are kind of slow on the football officiating side for you, but just kind of give us a life update if you could.
A life update with me, man. I was up to 200 pounds. I've never been there before, and it really made me sick. And so here recently, I got back in the gym and really worked hard, and shoot, I'm back down to playing weight, ready to hit it. So I lost about 14 pounds and got the muscle back and got the flab off. So other than that, everything else is going well. I work with community service board, and we've been open ever since. Pandemic didn't shut us down. We got clients that we have to see, and people that need us. And during a pandemic like this, the people that we work with, depression is bad, and things happen. If they get depressed, and so being that I'm a counselor, we get right in the middle of it and get them out of it. So other than that, life is going good. Sports is coming back, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, you played on some great Concord teams here. I mean, my word, it's been 30 years ago now since you played for the Maroon and Gray, a two-time All-American, as I mentioned, 1990, first-team All-American, 1991, second-team All-American at Concord, played on some awfully good teams, as I mentioned. But, Rob, if you could take me back to your recruitment out of Roanoke, Virginia, and William Fleming High School. Obviously, the recruiting game has changed so much. I can't imagine there was a whole lot of video out there back in your day. So just kind of take me through that process if you could.
Well, back in the day, I really knew nothing about Concord College. Coming out of high school, I was recruited by, the top guys. I got recruited by Tech, University of Maryland, North Carolina State, and ended up signing a 4-year scholarship with Virginia Tech out of high school. And things didn't work out right for me, so I ended up transferring to a Division II school called Hampton Institute, Hampton University.
Mm-hmm.
Went there for a year and a half, 2 years, and got into some trouble. When you hang with the bad boys, you end up being a bad boy. So ended up getting suspended, and they told me not to come back, give me a 2-year break. I said, well, 2 years, I'm either going to be dead or in jail for, the rate that I was going, the place, headed. So I decided, I had a couple buddies that was playing at Concord, Forrest Irvin and Mike Ward, who I went to high school with. They had told me about they had a position might be coming open because they had a senior leaving that played safety, and that was my position. So I talked to a good friend of mine who was my high school coach who graduated from Concord, got up with the head coaches of Concord, and hey, the rest is history.
Yeah, I would say so. Let's help me out with my time frame here, and I feel bad for looking this up, or not looking this up. But you played for Coach Williams and Coach Mullet, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach Williams was in 1988, and then I guess, actually, 89 is when Bob Mullet came. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys have that success right away, and Rob, when you look at your position, you played safety for those great Concord teams in the late 80s and early 90s. Such a great defense. How was you able just to come in right away and just make an impact here at the time at Concord College?
Well, like I said earlier, the starting safety, it was an All-American who left Concord when I was coming in, and based on, it's proven myself that I was capable of playing this position and capable. I came in and, with another group of guys that was already there. Tracy Bradley was the starting corner, and my buddy that I played high school football with was the starting strong safety. So I moved right on in. And, I know a lot of guys were wanting that, but, for some odd reason, I outplayed them. I guess quickness, speed's a killer. That's one thing about people don't understand. Speed kills. So I ran track. I was All-American in track in high school and even at Hampton University. So, but like I said, I came in and worked hard at the position, and so happens that Coach Williams started me, and like I said, the rest is see for yourself. I've done what I've done what had to be done to help out the team.
Yeah, you talk about that defense. You talk about helping out. From 1984 to 1992, yourself, Tracy Gravely, Mike Spradling, Robert Thompson, Freddie Ford, Craig Plymel, Kevin Johnson, Reggie Perry, David Stiltner, all All-Americans on just the defensive side. And then you throw in James Smith, Brian Ham, Danny Lindsay, Chris Harrison, all All-Americans for Concord for about an 8 to 9 year span there. I got to ask, what were those practices like? Because I almost feel like those things had to be almost as tough as games were.
Oh, man. Well, the practices were tough. I mean, the spring games was a hard-hitting game, but we knew from each other as far as what we had to provide for the team. So, we knew Chris Harrison was going to be a hard runner, but we didn't try to tackle him. I mean, we let up on the guys that we knew that was, but it was the new guys that came in, wanted to show off. That's the ones we wanted to hit. We wanted to really focus on, our position and focus on not hurting the ones that are already there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had a lot of opportunities to take cheap shots on guys, but I didn't do it because, they were, good players. Trey Stickline, I don't probably know him, probably heard of those guys, but, we didn't try to hurt anybody. We just, it was more like a big fun fest, man. Joking and having a good time. We had a lot of fun. Really did.
Yeah, I really want to dig into, kind of that group of players you played with, just kind of outside football. We're going to do that in just a little bit. But, Rob, I wanted to touch on, you guys winning back-to-back conference championships there in 89 and 90. Concord had went 21 years from 1990 to 2011 between conference championships. But, man, you guys had that thing rolling. In the 1980s, Concord goes 58, 13, and 2 during that decade, capped by the conference championship in 89 and then again in 90. How's you guys able to, I guess take everyone's best shot there? I mean, because the league was just so great at that time. So how's you guys able just to stay focused 1 week at a time during that time period?
Well, like I said, that West Virginia conference was tough. I mean, that was a heck of a conference. But one thing about it, we had players in every position that made an impact on the team. I mean, we had a secondary that had, Tracy Gravely on one side as an All-American coming back. Forrest Irvin, he should have been an All-American, but, he was in between me and Tracy, so he couldn't make All-American, so they only have me and Tracy Gravely. And we had another corners, we worked in we had a heck of a linebacker crew. The defensive line was tough. I mean, we had at one point we had the lowest scores as far as anybody being scored on in the conference, and so we had a great defensive coordinators. I mean the schemes that we had. I mean we really got to the ball. I mean, you see guys football today is totally different, and I mean I can't. You get a kill shot. Hey, that's going to take the offense out. The receivers ain't going to come across. You can't do kill shots, man. Anybody can go across. Coach can go across the field and catch a football if he wants to. You can't hit them. So, the time, the football, the times is real different. I mean, like I said, we could kill people. I mean, we did. I mean, I don't know how many concussions I might have had, but I didn't feel it. You know what I'm saying? And but we really had a awesome team those years, and I really we really and you know one thing about it, those years of playing football, it's about 15 of us that continues to talk at least once a week.
Yeah,
You
I have this written in my notes that the fact that I've been a part of Hall of Fames here at Concord for about 6 or 7 years now, and I'm so fascinated by the fact that it could be someone that you guys just played a year with, or it could be someone on the basketball team that gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, from that time period you use at Concord. How it's just so intriguing to me and just so awesome to see you guys 30 years removed from college and you guys still talk to each other. How are you guys able to do that now?
Well, it's about these Cowboy fans. See, a lot of the guys that I ran with and we still run together, they all Cowboy fans. So when the Cowboys get beat, we all get on a text message. It's about 20 of us, and we give the Cowboys hell and their fans. And so it's only about 5 or 6 of us that don't really care. I'm not a fan of any football team, but it's those guys that really and I'm talking about we conversate every weekend about the Cowboys. And we keep it going and actually we really do a lot together as far as the guys that I ran with. And we go on beach trips. We meet at least three times a year, and just to get together and hang out and just good camaraderie and good fellowship. That's what it's all about, and that's what college is all about. Continuing your fellowship with the guys you grew up with.
Yeah, Rob, I'm so fascinated by the fact that after all these years, now 30 years, you guys are still best of friends. Whenever someone goes into the Hall of Fame, you guys are essentially locked arm in arm. And if you could just kind of, give us a snapshot, a glimpse of, what the campus life looked like there whenever you guys were here in the late 80s and early 90s.
Well, back then, let me tell you, a lot of guys, when I first came to Concord, I knew I needed somewhere to just settle down and be able to do my schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I done. And a lot of guys that came back in that era, back in that time, their parents weren't coming to pick them up. Nobody had vehicles. I mean, you can't get around. Didn't have cell phones, So we just hung out up at the campus, and the campus had movies and had a lot to do, and the on-campus parties. The police wasn't the way they are now. Drugs wasn't the way they are now. You guys are going to drink, but still, we had so much fun. And when we go back to see at homecoming and see how things are so different, and see how the players, they hated that. I don't understand why, because it's nothing to do. But we try to stress to them, hey man, have your own thing, do your own thing. You got 10 friends, 10 guys hang out and just do nothing. Go to a movie. It's something is always available at Concord. I don't know why. It calmed me down. If it calmed me down, it straightened me out. It can do anything. Anybody straighten anybody out. Because I was wild. The things people go down and party, but I hate to say this, I used to throw water balloons at people, and that's how we had fun. Throwing water balloons at people 9 floors up. So, but we tried not to hit nobody. But still, it was fun. It was just fun, just scaring people. And luckily, nobody got hit, nobody got hurt. And that's what college life is all about: to experience the unexplainable. And why'd you do it? I don't know. But Concord was great for me. Like I said, I got a 4-year degree and played some football, met some great people, and like I said, we still are doing things together to this day, 30 years later.
Yeah, you talk about how Concord was a calming influence. How much different, and obviously I know I'm kind of comparing apples and oranges here, but how different was Athens, West Virginia from where you'd come from at Hampton, and how was that kind of a positive influence for you?
Tell you, at Hampton there was a party every day in every dorm. Every corner you walk, every boulevard you walk, there was a party, something going on. And Hampton University was a predominantly black college. I mean, I loved it. I had a great time my 2 years there, but I didn't get nothing done, not a thing. You know, uh, it wasn't Division One. They really didn't care about too much as far as grades goes. As long as you had a C average, you could play. But moving to transferring to Concord, I had roommates and not cellmates, but I had cellmates too. But it wasn't. But I had suite mates that everybody got up and went to school, went to class. And when you see that, and you sitting in the bed and like, man, I did 8 o'clock class. Oh, I need to go into class. I mean, it's the influence of other guys wanting to do good for themselves got that in my heart, and I want to do better for myself, and that's what got me. I mean, like you said, the apples and oranges. Hampton, down to Hampton, Virginia, party every day. You can party every day, all day, and not go to class and still play a sport. But nowadays it's totally different. So, but the experience from down there to Concord, oh, I mean that's, I mean it ain't like apples and oranges, it's from apples to watermelons. That's how it was.
Oh shoot! All right, so Rob, I just kind of want to circle back around here. You've mentioned a Tracy Gravely a couple of times, and playing alongside him in the defensive backfield, and maybe a lot of people don't know this, just to the casual person, that Tracy Gravely is only one of a handful of people ever to win a Grey Cup and a Super Bowl ring. So what was it like playing with a professional in a Division II collegiate defensive backfield like you did?
Well, Trace, I mean, he's one of the most quietest, humblest guys I've met. If it was me, I probably wouldn't be that humble. I'd be flashing that ring. I have both rings on, But playing with Trace was awesome. I mean, we had a great relationship. We were roommates. People don't really understand or realize this, that I was the one who got him out his shell. See, before I got there, Tracy was he was a quiet guy. I mean, and when he met up with old Rob Majors, he came out of his shell and he showed himself. So, we had a great relationship. We still got a great relationship. It was great to play with him, and like I said, he shut the passing game down. Whenever we played anybody, we wouldn't have to worry about anything being thrown on his side. We would make sure that we got coverage, help on the other side, because that's where they was going to go to, because the other side was usually a freshman playing corner. And but like I said, we had a good rapport back there, and we worked with each other on the field and off the field. And, Tracy's a great guy. I don't know why he's not coaching, but hey, he's got to give it up sometime. I told him come to officiating. He might get in the NFL for officiating.
and Rob, before we talk about post-college here and talk about your officiating, I would be remiss. I was told a story a few days ago from a very reliable source that I think it was in the 1990-91 season that you signed a basketball as a member of the men's basketball team here at Concord. You somehow got your signature on a basketball. So if you can just kind of give us the origin of that story.
Well, I remember signing it, but I can't remember what was it for. I think whoever had the basketball, I don't know if it was a kid or somebody, and they brought it to me, and I said, okay, well, I just sign my name. And I can't remember what the situation was, but that did bring back a memory there, because I don't know if it was during a basketball game or not. I know if you heard it from Coach Cox, it's true. I remember signing, but I don't remember the whole situation with it.
Yeah, Rob, and just one more thing I thought about here, and then we will move into post-college stuff here. Just kind of talk about, and I know our athletes today do a phenomenal job of supporting each other, but what was not only the athletic support, but what was just the campus and the community support like for you guys in men's basketball and women's basketball and just whoever during that time frame you was here at Concord?
I know back then the basketball team would work the chain gang and do all that. I don't think the baseball team did have nothing to do with it. But the basketball team, we were close with the basketball team because a lot of the football guys would play the basketball coaches doing intramurals. And you're talking about a shootout and almost a fight every time. And one thing about it, we supported each other. I mean, we was at the basketball games, rooting on Row. Who else? Who else was on the game?
Todd Lusk and some of those guys.
Todd Lusk and those guys. We were with those guys on, and we showed them love. And the same thing for them with football. They would support us. And the community was good. I mean, we had good camaraderie with the community. The sweet shop used to be a little sweet shop eating place across the street from the campus, and that's where all of us would go hang out at and get good fried chicken. The owner would fix fried chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, and man, you're talking about heaven. That's heaven right there. And so even the police department was pretty well. They knew everybody. They knew Charles Wallace for sure. A lot of guys by names. Mike Sprouling, they knew him really well. And because I think the head coach had to get Mike Sprouling out of jail a couple times. But yeah, we had good support, and like I said, we supported the volleyball and the women's basketball. Baseball was a time when, spring. I mean, we was doing spring football then too, so things were. I mean, we knew a lot of baseball players and softball players, but we had a great camaraderie as far as supporting one another back then.
Yeah, let's jump into your post-collegiate life here now. Obviously, like I said, that great run for Concord. You guys win 3 championships, one right before you got here, and then 2 consecutive in a 4-year span. You're a 2-time All-American. You're in the Hall of Fame here at Concord. But you talk about your career now, dealing with people that have had some rough life choices they've made, some poor decisions and what have you. Based on what you've talked about, going from Virginia Tech to Hampton to Concord and really settling down, was that kind of a reason why you got into what you've gotten into here?
No, I've been with the human service field for a long time now, and I always wanted to work with people. Growing up, trying to find a degree that you want to work on, it was always something dealing with people. I mean, never wanted to be anything business or anything like that because you got to have some math skills. I know how to count my money. As far as algebra and all that, hey man, I care less. But I was more of a people person, and I felt that working with people would do me better justice than doing anything else. I mean, kids okay, but as far as working in the school system, I worked in the prison system for about 15 years and done well in that as a counselor. And one thing with working in prisons, the only bad thing about it, you're locked in. Locked in, you go in and the door locks until 5 o'clock. So this position I have now for CSB in Casper County, we got we work with mentally disabled, and it's mental health has been a situation is growing more and more due to the drugs it has a lot to do with it. And mental health is a tough job. I mean, you really got to have that want to help somebody, and that's what I do. I want to help people. I want to do what I can, do my part, and hopefully we can try to fix this mental health situation.
Yeah, so you've got that going on, and you've also jumped into college football officiating, as I mentioned
Yeah.
at the top. Kind of how did that kind of come about?
Well, I started doing some high school. You know, being bored in Tazewell County is not a lot to do, so I had to find something to do. And I got into the high school football probably about 18 years ago. Maybe no, it's about 20 years. About 20. I've been a high school official about 20 years now. And then within about maybe 5 years of doing high school football, a good friend of mine who's now in the ACC, his name is Stuart Mullins. They'd asked me about officiating college football. I said, well, I'll go ahead. So I tried out and done some college football in ODAC, Division III. Started there, and then I done about 3-4 years with the ODAC and decided to switch over to the West Virginia Conference. Done West Virginia Conference until they turned it into the MEAC, the Mountain East Conference. So I've done 10 years with Mountain East, and now I'm on my 13th year with the SAC. So this will be 3 years of SAC. So I really enjoy it. It's a gang. It's not a gang. It's a job where if you want to get a lot out of it, you can. A lot of as far as fishing, if you can not listen to everybody screaming and everybody calling coaches, if you can not worry about that and be relaxed, it's a smooth game.
Sure.
You know, it's very smooth, and that's how I take it. I mean, a lot of people go in that position as an official as being a stress job. Nah, it's as stress as you want to make it stress. It's a very relaxed for me. I enjoy it. I mean, it's a way to get away from the home. It's a good weekend. You get paid for it, and if you like football, you'll love officiating.
I like that answer that you gave about, if you just don't make it stressful, then it's very enjoyable. And I guess my next question is, Rob, how are you able to still officiate the game, but still be able to watch just the overall play and see the talent out there on the field? How do you try to juggle that, I guess?
Well, I tell you, back here where I'm at, I'm a deep wing, so I'm a side judge, back judge, or field judge. It's kind of like you got the best seat in the house if they ain't passing. if the ball is in the air and it's coming your direction, you got to be in position. But for me, I watch the game as the ball if they're running the ball, and oh yeah, you hear me say, oh man, good hit. If they or if the ball goes across the middle. I mean, tight end goes across the middle, somebody hits somebody. Oh, and we'll pass it on to one another through the mic. Did you see that hit? Oh man, that's a good hit. You can't get caught watching the game if the ball is coming your direction. So I know when to watch and I know when to play. So it's tough because you get caught watching the daggone football game and then something's gonna go by you. So I try not to watch too much, but it's really fun being on the sidelines, seeing the crowds, watching the players, and I do my best. I try to help them out. I'm not an official that will call everything. You got some officials that call everything by the book, and you got the good officials who makes the call because they know it's the right call.
Sure.
Because you've been there. I mean, a lot of times you go down the field and you got two guys running beside one another. If they both juggling with each other, hand checking, you don't call nothing. But most guys that hasn't played the game would throw a flag on that. That's the beauty of playing the game and instead of watching the game. You know?
With you being a back judge or field judge or wherever you might be in the back of that officiating crew, do you think that you playing safety in your collegiate days kind of helps you understand, understand what's going to maybe come your way before it even comes your way?
Right. Yeah, I sometimes I do look at the play and know, one thing about it, a lot of people don't know this, but I played arena football also. And it's all about my key would normally be the widest guy. And the widest guy, you can tell as far if it's receivers, how close they are to the outside, if you know what type of route. I can route read. I read routes. And that makes it easy for me. And I try to tag it along and give it to all the other guys that I officiate with. But if you can read where that receiver's lining up at, there's different routes that they can run. And so that helps me out a lot, officiating, that I would know what's coming. If he's all the way on the end next to the sideline, he's got to come all the way across the field to get the ball. Or he's going to do a jab, run by. So it's going to be something deep or something going all across the field. But that's the beauty of it for me, that I can see that coming and I know what's coming my way.
Sure. A couple of more things here, Rob, and then we'll let you go. Two things. Your best memory, and I know this is a broad question, I get it. Your best memory as a student athlete at Concord College back in the late 80s and early 90s.
Best memory, man. A lot of them. Okay, I'll tell you a good one. I was cutting hair. I was a barber. I cut hair up. I cut a lot of the guys' hair. And around that time, I moved up from throwing water balloons into bags of water. And so we was cutting hair, and the RA came around making his rounds. And about that time, I had a bag of water, a trash bag full of water. I was going to sling out the window up at North Towers onto the road at North Towers. And he walked in. And so as he walked in to check everybody, to look around, I had the bag of water hanging out the window, holding it while he was talking to me. And he didn't realize I had a bag of water in my hand. And soon as he left, I slung that bag of water up. I slung the bag of water out the window, 9 floors up. You talking about a splash. Because he thought he had me. He thought he caught me. And all the guys were sitting right there around us because I was cutting hair, and he didn't pay no attention. And the guys was all looking at me like, man, he going to get busted. But it's true, man. And so as soon as he left, I said, hey, I got my bag. And I slung it out the window. That was a good one. That was a real good one.
That's awesome that you guys played in some unbelievable football games, and the best one is slinging a bag of water out of the 9th floor of Towers.
That was a heck of a day. That was a good night.
That's beautiful. And then the last thing here, Rob. Obviously, I'm sure you've seen some talented players. You've seen some unbelievable games. Patrolling the sidelines, patrolling the field as an official. What's one thing that really sticks out to you as an official, as you know, you've been on this thing 20 plus years now?
Well, one thing that hits me pretty hard, and I think about it every now and then, is when I didn't rule on a call, which I thought I was going to get dinged for, but the coach gave me hell on the sideline, and it was the coach from University of Charleston. He gave me hell for it, but one thing about it, I knew I was right, and the supervisor told me I was right, and but I didn't hear the end of it when I got on that sideline. Boy, he gave me a chewing, and then the funny thing about the whole thing, after the game was over, he came over and shook my hand and said, "Majors, that was a good call. I thought I could get you." So, he shook my hand and told me, hey, I knew you had the right call, but I wanted to get at you for a little bit. So maybe I can get a call later on during the game. That's how they are. It's a mind, it's psychological, and those coaches know how to do it. He had shook my hand and said, hey, Majors, you didn't bite. I like that. I said, hey, all right, man. And we ever since then, every time I had him, he would come and shake my hand, and we'd have a good little conversation and tell each other good game. And then I still remember that to this day. That was my first year on the West Virginia, not the first year of Mountain East.
Sure.
First year of Mountain East Conference.
Sure. Well, Rob, we certainly appreciate your time here today, and this has been exactly what I wanted it to be. I wanted to get some laughs, and you have provided me with some laughs, so I'm sure that you'll provide anyone listening to this with some laughs. And like I said, I just find it so intriguing that, all your group of guys you ran with at Concord College back then 30 years ago, you guys are still in touch on almost a daily basis, or at least a weekly basis,
right.
and I think that's awesome, and that's what college is about right there.
Exactly.
But once again, we appreciate your time, and we're gonna let you go now.
All right. Well, thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Once again, Rob Majors, two-time Concord football All-American, a couple of time conference champion, and now collegiate football official, joining us here on the 7th episode of Concord Athletic Alumni at Work.